Hello, and welcome to another episode of Will It Work? I'm Kevin. Today we're looking at the Final Fantasy version of the Wonderswan Color. Little known fact here about your host, Kevin, is that for a little while I ran an online store and sold video games and game consoles. This was in my 20s. I was thinking, well, I could probably do what everybody else is doing, and I wrote a store. I got a credit card authorization, terminal. I didn't host that myself. It went through a bank's automated thing, but it was linked up to my website, and this was all before, you could do things like with Square or PayPal and that kind of thing. And I wrote my own store software. Basically, it provided an alphabetical link by console of what you were looking for and what we had in stock. And my stock was basically driven out of a company that was a few cities over that basically was a wholesaler for video games, and they allowed me to purchase individual titles. I think to them it was just kind of novel or something that I was just trying to do what I was trying to do. Because I think they mostly just, drop shipped large orders of things. But they allowed me to buy them individually. And the profit on a particular video game was about $8 or $9 if you sold one. But the fees related to, say, taking credit cards, dealing with returns, packaging, shipping, all of that sort of stuff, and the fact that you couldn't really attract a good audience without a lot of marketing dollars that I didn't have. So, I eventually just stopped it. Nothing weird or anything happened. I just stopped doing it because it just wasn't profitable. But at one point I did sell a Wonderswan because I would import titles from National Console Support. And I imported a Wonderswan for a kid who wanted one. And he wanted a game for it, etc., some sort of monster battle thing. I can't quite remember what the game was, and it was the original black and white one, but he was really happy, and I gave it to him, sold it to him, of course, and he couldn't get it anywhere else, and it was like a local place, because I was like in his city, and he just asked me if I could get it. He was very patient, waiting for it to come over on order, and I sold it to him. So, that's my little weird Wonderswan story. But this is the Wonderswan Color, and it is not open. It came in this fancy little box here. It's all in Japanese because the Wonderswan was not released in the United States. It comes with a book, and it comes with the game system itself. And I'm not going to take this out and use it because I know it works, and it's still sealed. But we can at least take a look at it, and there's some stuff on the back we can look at. The Wonderswan was out around the same time as the Game Boy Color, and then the Game Boy Advance came out, and so they did the Wonderswan Color, and it was it wasn't a success, but it wasn't a total failure. Like, for a little while, because of these Final Fantasy games, etc., that they had for it, it did really well in Japan initially, and I don't know what went wrong, but it probably just was a licensing thing. Bandai has always been a bit unusual in that they will take risks like this, and they have their whole Gundam following and just a big history of gaming in general. And, I don't know if this was profitable for them. I'm sure Wikipedia probably has tales of woe about the Wonderswan Color, but I do remember living at that time and following it. And there were at times, like I think when the Final Fantasy dropped for it initially, it was outselling the Game Boy Advance for a little while there. And, part of the reason, of course, is probably the backlight issue. Is nobody liked that, but I'm not even sure if this is backlit, to be honest. I've never turned it on. It probably isn't. But 6 one way, half a dozen the other. This was made in 2000, and it's a little piece of history from Japan, and it's kind of nice that it's you know, still in the box and still sealed. It's got some dust, dirt, grime on it. I got to clean these things up. But yeah, it's the Wonderswan Color. And you got the, not really see it in action, but I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there that has somebody playing Wonderswan Color games if you really want to see what they're like. I'm sure they are a lot of like Game Boy Advance games. But, you know, still, it's another system. Adding it to the list, keeping this one, moving on to the next one. Thanks for watching.